2005 Jeep Liberty, 4-wheel drive. We're going to change the upper ball joints, and the upper ball joints come as an assembly as the entire upper control arm. Here's the new one right here. The ball joint does not come out, so you have to change the whole upper control arm. So obviously you got the ball joint nut you got to take off, and then you got bolts down in here. You got that one that we'll need to reach down and get, and then you got the forward one right there. To make this job a lot easier, highly recommend a impact or possibly an air ratchet. A small impact to get down in there will definitely be beneficial. Of course, I've got my little Nano that should just fit right in there. I've already taken the nut off. I wasn't going to film it, and then I thought, no, let me go ahead and film it, because a lot of people don't understand that there's vehicles out there that the ball joints are integrated into the control arms. So let me get the camera set up. I'll show you the easy way to knock these loose. Let me get the camera set up on a tripod. Okay, as you can see, there's a flat spot on the steering knuckle here that you can kind of beat on without worrying about too much damage. I'm not gonna have to worry about the upper control arm because I'm replacing it, but whenever you do this, make sure that you're not going to damage nothing. Now this is cast iron, so it can take quite a bit of abuse. Most of them are cast iron, but if it's rounded or whatever, and you're going to have to deform it very much, you might think twice about doing it this way. But basically, the shock and the vibration from hitting right here will vibrate that tapered press fit loose. Sometimes you got to whack it pretty good. Sometimes they pop loose pretty easy. And also, you got to pay attention to how you've got it jacked and what kind of suspension you've got. This has got a strut, and I've got it jacked up with the strut completely bottomed out, so there's no tension on this upper control arm. So I can safely, whenever this pops loose, it's not going to spring apart and possibly cause any kind of injury. That's the last thing you want. So I'm right-handed, but I'm going to have to be swinging this left-handed, so hopefully it all goes well. And that's just the way you want it to happen. So now I've got the ball joint disconnected from the spindle from the steering knuckle. So now I'm going to have to go up, knock those two bolts loose up top. This thing will come on out of here. So let me kind of get set up top, and we'll go after that. Okay, we're up top here. You can see the nut. We'll see if the Nano can knock it out of there. I've got to get a different size socket. Hold on a second. Okay, so here we go. Make sure you don't lose your stuff. So the back one might be a little tougher. I'm gonna lower this Jeep down just a little bit. Okay. don't know if there's enough room down here to do this or not. I may have to. No, I'm gonna have to get an extension and yeah. There's not gonna be enough room to show you guys this, but basically, you know what? I can put everything together and show you how I'm gonna do it. But then I'm gonna have to have both hands to actually do the job. So stand by. Okay, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, but I've got an extension going all the way up to where I need to be with a swivel socket on it. So what I'm going to do is take my impact, connect it right there to the end of the extension, and just turn it out of there. You can do that by hand. I mean, I know everybody don't have impacts, but if you got to do it by hand, it's just going to take longer, but it can be done by hand. So I'm gonna have to shut the camera down and get this out of there, and then whenever I pull the bolts out, I'll come back and show you all that. All right. So this is got the nut. This is the setup that I used. Swivel, couple extensions. So now you just pull the bolts out. And this is what they look like. At least they were nice enough to put these anti-rotation clips on so that it captures the bolt from spinning. There's the other one. That one's kind of tight, so let me get that out. I'm just going to twist on it and get it out of there. Okay, bolts out. And now this thing should pop on out of here. Okay, there it is. You can kind of see the tore up boot. The ball joint was still tight. Didn't have no play in it, but with that boot tore up, it's just a matter of time. So he wanted to go ahead and get this thing replaced. Whenever this goes up in here, well, this one's going to be tight, it looks like. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I've got it lined up about as good as I can get it. Come on, camera. It's trying to focus on all kinds of stuff. I think it's close enough where I can get the bolt in. So let's try to do that. Both the bolts are the same, so you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. Let me move the light. Oh yeah. Okay, so the back one's in. Let's see how close the front one is. Looks like I got room for a tapered punch. I'm just reaching in here, lifting it up just a little bit with a pry bar sometimes these things are just flopping around real loose, and it's tough to it looks like it might be close enough, and it's tough to get it to stay. So you put it where you want it, and then it just flops right back down as soon as you let go of it. I know the light's probably not ideal, but okay. All right, let's start us some nuts on here. Oh, the one thing you want to watch, so that black line that you see right there, that's the brake line. So you don't want this thing to sling around and damage that. I'm just going to start the nut. Okay. So the nut's started. Get the impact. And let's see. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry if that's loud. Alright, so now comes the back one where I'm going to have to use the extension and swivel. And you don't have to, you can get straight on it with a wrench, but I don't want to sit there and wrench on it all day. I didn't tighten the back one up because frankly it was just a two-hand job. I've got to stabilize that extension since it's kind of long and hit the trigger on the impact. But both the bolts are tightened up. Okay, let me get you set up on the tripod. Alright, so this is where a pry bar is going to come in handy, which I just happen to have. Okay. Now, whoops. Now, if you have an impact that you can get on, unfortunately, the brake line is right in line with that, so I can't get my impact on it. Otherwise, I'd zip that on with an impact. So I'm going to have to wrench this one on. And the reason I tap the top is hopefully to seat the taper enough to where it won't spin. I don't know if it's going to spin or not. If the taper doesn't spin, then it makes this a lot easier. If it does, you got these flats right here on the end of the ball joint that you can put a wrench on and hold the ball joint from spinning. Alright, and that's it. Job complete. That took maybe what, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to replace the upper ball joint and control arm assembly. The one nice thing about this, I guess, is that you're also getting new bushings, control arm bushings, so the upper bushings are new also, which is obviously a good thing. The bushings in the old one didn't seem to be that bad, but now they got new. Anyway, 2005 Jeep Liberty, upper control arm, ball joint, and obviously bushings. That's pretty much it. The other side's pretty much the same way. It's just a little tougher to get to the bolts for these. And same deal, you got a brake line right there. In fact, that brake line that I showed you is this right here. That's where it goes through the sheet metal there, and it's right on the other side of that. So be careful with that. Don't nick your brake line and cause it to start leaking. Anyway, that's all I got.